Hello and welcome back to Algebra 1, Credit 5. We're going to be going over graphing compound inequalities, which just means we're going to be graphing two inequalities at the same time. We're going to be going over solving a little bit of graphing compound inequalities towards the end of the video. Okay, so let's get started. So we have two inequalities we have to graph on the same line. X is, let me go ahead and write down, is greater or better, and X is less than or equal to 12. All right, so let's start with this one first. All right, so here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's 5. And what are some numbers that are greater than 5? Well, 6 comes to mind, and 7, and 8. So all these numbers here that are greater than 5. By the way, are we going to put an open circle or filled in circle on 5? Open, right? The reason being, see, open circle. All right. X is less than or equal to 12, so a couple numbers now, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, what are some numbers that are less than 12? Well, again, 11 comes to mind, and 10, 9, 8, so all these numbers here, right? And am I going to put an open circle or filled in on 12? Filled in, right? So they kind of overlap. There's an area where they overlap, and that's, oh, sorry about that. There's an area where they overlap, and that's just right here, right? Right here, right between them. So an area of overlap. Okay. So between my 12 and my open circle on 5, I have a filled in area where, you know, the paths kind of overlap. All right, so why don't we try another problem, and that's, oops, I guess I have to exit out of that tool. So we'll continue on. Sorry about this, folks. So let's go back to another problem. Let's try this one here, okay? So graphing, again, this inequality, X is greater or equal to -2 and less than 1. All right, so let's start with -2. That would be here, right? And that would be, what are some numbers that are greater than -2? Well, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So pretty much all these numbers going that way. All right. An open or closed circle on -2. Closed, right? Closed. All right, so I'm going to put this in a different color. Put this in, I don't know, blue. All right. So 1, open or closed circle on 1. Open, right? All right. What are some numbers that are less than 1? Well, 0, 1, 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So pretty much all these numbers going this way, all right? So there's a slight overlap here that you can kind of see once I highlight it. There's a slight overlap here between these two. See, there's an overlap, and that would be where I highlight on mine. You want to use colored pencils or just different types of shading, or arrows work too. Okay, let's try another one. Okay. Ooh, if you watched the previous videos before you even started this, you had to watch 2 videos before you actually did these compound inequalities, because I wanted you to kind of practice a little bit on, I wanted you to practice a little bit on actually graphing inequalities, and especially when inequalities kind of switched around. I wanted you to at least practice that a little bit before we actually started. So if you haven't gone back to watch those videos, please do, because what I'm about to do has already been explained. So we see here, this is in the wrong order, so we'll do X, we'll switch the order of inequality. All right, so we have greater than -3, and then X is less than 4, okay? So again, let's start with -3. 1, 2, -3. What are some numbers that are greater than -3? Well, -2, -1, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way. So from here on. And open or close circle on the -3. Open. Hopefully you said open. Let's pick a different color for our next point. I'm feeling green. All right, so 4. So open or close circle on 4. Open. So open circle. And what are some numbers less than 4? Well, 3 comes to mind, and 2, and 1. So all those numbers going this way. Now notice there's a little bit of an overlap here. Again, I'm going to kind of allow you to see this a little bit clearer. So here's some overlap. Again, you can use colored pencils, you can use highlighters, crayons. Go ahead in the center and ask. We'll give you those. Or you can go to any store and grab these, or just use arrows, kind of like how I'm doing. All right, let's try another one. Again, this is a little bit in a weird order. Okay, change out of my highlighter here. I really like purple. Okay, oh, I don't want a highlighter. I want that. All right. So, again, I'm going to go ahead and switch the order here. All right, so that's greater, and that's less than. So we'll start with -2. So that's -2. Open or closed? Closed. Closed. Okay. And what are some numbers that are greater than -2? Well, -1, 1, 2, 3, all these numbers kind of come to mind. All right. Let's start with our next one, which is 7. Change that to purple. All right, so that's 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, so filled in or open on 7. Open. All right, and what are some numbers less than 7? 6 comes to mind, and 5, and 4, and 3, and 2. So all these numbers here. There's a little bit of an overlap here between these numbers. Now, that's not to say that it's always going to happen. This isn't always going to happen. But, I did want you to at least see when there is a little bit of an overlap. Ooh. Like I said, a little bit of an overlap before we go on to any others. And I really like highlighter. I really would like yellow. Okay. Again, you can use colored pencils. You can use highlighters, or just, like I said, arrows and pencil. All right, let's try another one. Ooh, this one a lot of students are kind of like, how do I do this? I'm not quite sure. It's scary. I want to go run and hide. Run and hide. It's okay. We're going to kind of break this apart. This is x less than or equal to 4 and -2 less than x. Let's switch this around. So we just broke it apart. Let's switch this around. Remember, whole PowerPoint that goes over why I'm doing this. So watch it if you still haven't done it. But let's graph. So it's x, so that's -2, open or close circle, open, What are some numbers that are bigger or greater than -2? Well, -1, 1, 2, 3, 4, all these numbers going that way, right? Now let's do -4. I'm going to just change colors really quick. Hopefully I get faster at this as we continue. So here's 4. Do this one. 4, open or close circle. Close circle, right? Okay. And all the numbers that are less than 4. So 3 comes to mind, and 2 and 1. So again, there's a little bit of an overlap here. All right, hopefully again I get a little bit faster at doing this. If you want to use any colored pencils, I encourage you to do so. Like I said, if you want to use arrows and kind of what I'm doing here, you can. This little area right here is the overlap between these two numbers. All right, not too bad. Try another one. So again, we're just going to pull it apart. We're going to break it apart. Do not like yellow. Nothing against yellow, I don't like it. Right, so we're going to pull this apart. This is x is less than -3 and -7 less than x. So we're going to switch this around. Again, if you haven't watched that video, please do. It explains everything but why I'm doing that. So let's start with this one. Let's put -7 somewhere out here. Open or closed circle. Open. What are some numbers that are bigger or greater than -7? Pretty much any positive number, right? So any of those numbers there. All right, so let's go ahead and do -3, this one here. So that's 1, 2, -3. Open or closed circle. Closed. Closed circle. And what are some numbers that are less than -3? Well, -4, -5, -6. Again, there's a little bit of an overlap here. Okay, so we're going to highlight that area here of overlap. All right, let's try one more for the road. Ooh, so we might actually continue in a second part video on how to solve compound inequalities. But hopefully this was enough to at least get you started on some of the homework. We're going to do part 2 of this video in just a short bit. So please stay tuned, and as always, happy math problem solving.